My Childhood Development by Sierra Allen Galusha. The first 3 years. Physical development and health. It's expected that children will grow rapidly. They have the cephalocadal principle, that growth occurs from top to bottom, starting from their head and moving to their feet. And then the proximal principle, and that's that growth and development occur from the center outward, so from your stomach more out to your limbs. Development of motor skills from simple to complex. They start trying to reach out and grab things and bring them to them. Growth and development are very susceptible to environment and health. Any negative influences can stunt growth or affect your health. Kids start learning to walk. I was a very healthy baby and I developed normally. During my first year of life, I developed muscle to help me sit up and eventually crawl. I learned how to crawl and walk very early. I put everything I could find in my mouth, and I found fascination with my tongue and nose. After a year old, I started eating a larger variety of foods and continued with healthy sleeping habits. Cognitive development. It's expected that children will start learning to walk. They'll begin to draw symbols. Their communication skills will develop to help convey what they need or how they feel. They begin learning shapes in animals, and they can retain small bits of information. Most of it is just what they hear, and they will repeat it back to you. I began recognizing people and having preferences to who I'd be around. I loved being with my mom most. I was a blabbermouth, and I talked to whoever would listen. My sentences were not well formed and typically made little sense. I would always ask for my banky, which is my blanket, and I loved to color and draw, but even my stick figures were unrecognizable. Psychosocial development. It's expected that children are starting to show personality traits, forming relationships and connections with people. They display the emotions of sad, angry, and happy, just simple emotions. They are making their first friends, often based on proximity and gender, and developing preferences. I began to be very giggly and bubbly. I developed close relationships with my mom and dad. I had a best friend named Alyssa, and we were the same age, and she lived right across the road. I was often angry and sad. I did not like it when I didn't get my way, and I would pout and throw fits. I became obsessed with Barbies and stuffed animals. These are a few pictures of me with family members in just the first early years of my life. Alright, early childhood. Physical development and health. It's expected that you will develop fine motor skills. They'll continue developing. Growth is still rapid, but less than the first 3 years. And on average, you might grow 2 to 3 inches, and the growth results in body proportion changing. Definitely more active time of your life. I used my newfound coordination to play sports and play outside with my friends. My favorite sport was cheerleading and swimming. And I have 2 older brothers, and we're all a year apart, and I had no problem keeping up with them. Cognitive development. It's expected that you will start having better fluidity in your language, start attending school, your cognitive ability increases, egocentric outlook, very self-centered, no abstract thinking. Your thinking is more black and white, either it's wrong or it's right, there's no in between, and imaginative and fantasy play. I love learning and practicing my alphabet. I would have people quiz me on how to spell my name. I attended preschool. I really had no idea that there was a world outside of my own life and my own family, but I loved playing house and imagining that I was a mother. Psychosocial development. It's expected that kids will start expressing emotions. Their self-concept develops, whether it's about gender or race. Rough and tumble play, more social play and making more friends. You start attending birthday parties and interacting with other people more. I was very expressive. My parents never wondered how I was feeling because I was sure to tell them. I liked to be liked, and I was very social. I wanted to hug and touch all over everyone. I started to understand more of who I was and group myself with people that I thought were like me, and I attended a lot of birthday parties and interacted very socially. And these are some pictures of me in early childhood. Alright, let's move on to middle childhood. Physical development and health. It's expected that you'll be very active time of your life, typically very good health. Your growth is slowed down, but maturing is still happening. Not much is going on really during this period, just kind of slow, steady growth. I was a very healthy kid at this age. I played a lot of sports, and I was a little bit taller than my peers, but a lot underweight. Cognitive development. Critical thinking begins. Children develop more cognitive skills. Memory and problem solving improve. Difficult time for students with special needs because this is when it starts becoming apparent that they are academically behind. Children begin thinking more long term. Me. I did very well in school and I excelled in math. It was my favorite subject. I had a sharp memory and I loved to tell people about my life events, and I began planning my future and dreaming of different careers. Psychosocial development. It's expected that children become more sensitive, more aware of their emotions, and they continue to develop their self-definition. They are heavily impacted by their peers and environments, and opinions form and disagreements are more common. Me, I was very sensitive and I cried a lot. I was very unique and I thought that made me weird. I often, I'd feel out of place. I had a few very close friends. I fought often with my oldest sibling. He was much more harsh and aggressive and I was more gentle. I was the only girl in my family, so I played a lot more sports and dress-ups, but I still had my girly side. These are some pictures of me during this time of my life. Alright, let's move on to the last part, adolescence. Physical development and health. It's expected that maturing will continue. You're going to start puberty and you're going to have more hair growth on different parts of your body. Depends on girl or boy. Rapid height changes, especially apparent in boys. There's a start of primary and secondary sex characteristics. Boys' changes could be drastic. Physical activity is typically limited to sports. I started maturing at the age of 13. I was on a swim team, I was really tall for my age, and I quickly grew out of any clothes that were bought for me, and I started shaving my legs when I turned 15, and I was diagnosed with a heart disease at 12 and had surgery for that disease at 13. Cognitive development. It's expected that the logic and reasoning increases, abstract thinking begins, problem solving advances, and memory is more in depth. I made good grades. I continued to excel in math. It was still my favorite subject, just came naturally to me. I like retelling vivid memories of my events, and I love solving problems my own way. Psychosocial development. Search for relationships, self-identity increases, planning future, good relationship with family, and the beginning of romantic interests. There's still the constant search for validation. Me. I struggled with who I was. I defined myself based on my friends. I spent most of my time with my family. This time in my life I had my first boyfriend, and I was planning to go to college for occupational therapy, but now I am in school for special education, so age can change a lot of aspects of your life. These are some pictures of me as an adolescent, and that bottom picture is with my best friend Alyssa, that I was friends with before I was even 3 years old. And that is my childhood development presentation. And the reference I used was my textbook. Thank you.